What's going on, boys? I just wanted to make a very, very quick training or video here on how to find a perfect 10K per month niche, or a niche that you can make 10K or even 100K per month off of. I specialize in taking businesses to 100K per month, so I specifically talk about businesses to go to 100K per month. And I guess there is a pretty big discrepancy, but it's all the same thing of how to find a niche. Whether you want to go to 10K a month, 5K a month, 100K a month, a mil a month, whatever you want to go to, there's the same principles that apply in the niche factor. And I hear a lot of people come back to me. They go out, I give them advice on how to find a niche, and they come back to me and they say, "Oh, Zach, I don't know if this is a good niche or not. I don't know if I've gone here, and I don't know if this is the right niche for me, right? I don't know if I can actually make money in this niche. I don't know if these people are actually financially qualified. I don't know," and this is the worst one, "if these people will actually buy my offer." And I guess another one that's pretty bad is I don't know how to get in contact with these people. And so this is something that we need to solve from the beginning, right? So many people are coming out here thinking that they can just build their SMMA or build a video editing business as a complete commodity, right? Video editing, SMMA, all of it's commoditized, even growth operating. I come from a growth operating background. I growth operate for real businesses, online service-based businesses typically, but sometimes in-person service-based businesses as well. And the main thing that I've realized over all of my time in operations in general, whether it be in growth operating, in SMMA, and video editing, where I first started 6 years ago, and I'm 19, so I've been in the game since I was 13. In all my time here, and I know it's not that long in comparison to some, but in comparison to the online space, I've stuck around for a good while, and so that's where I come from on that side. What I've found is that it doesn't really matter what niche you go for. It matters more of how well you like that niche and how well you can communicate with that niche, because the biggest thing in your business usually at the start is going to be marketing, right? Every business, if you want to scale to 100K per month, here's the secret. It might be the most valuable piece of advice you'll get ever. If you want to scale a business, there's basically three things, right? There's marketing, sales, and leadership, right? And if you can solve those three things, the first bottleneck is usually marketing. But once that bottleneck is solved, now it's sales and now it's delivery, and now it just goes in a circle, right? Delivery and ops and team building leadership, right? That's the last one. So wherever that bottleneck is, you need to be able to find it. You need to be able to identify it, and you need to be able to solve it, and that will create another bottleneck somewhere else. And as you go, you continually make your bottlenecks wider and wider and wider and wider and wider until you've been able to scale to the moon, right? And so that is how you scale any sort of business. Well, here's the thing. A lot of people come to me and they're like, "Hey, is this niche scalable? Is this something that I can actually scale?" And usually my question to that is, "I don't know, what do you think?" Right? And that gets people to start thinking, and some people are just like pissed off by that, but I used to use that all the time, right? "I don't know, what do you think?" Because a lot of people give excuses as to, "Oh, this niche is too saturated," or, "Oh, this niche has this thing or this problem or that problem." And in reality, what I've found is that every niche has a problem, right? We recently went from growth operating for just like purely creators to expanding to a wider total addressable market, right? We're going a lot wider with who we're targeting. We're targeting more in-person businesses. We're able to target more broad online service-based businesses versus just like coaches with over 100K followers. If you didn't know, I've scaled Alex Sedlak, I've scaled Sam Millsap, I scaled a lot of the big coaches in the industry. And the biggest thing that I've learned from all of those is that there's a lot easier business models, or a lot easier people to target, sorry. What I've learned from that is that there are some people that are a lot easier to target. So it doesn't matter as much with the biggest thing first to solve, right, is who do you want to target? Before you build your offer, before you do anything else, you have to solve the person first, right? Because if you can solve for the variables in order of person first, then offer, then marketing, then sales, then delivery, you can become rich as well, right? But if you go out of order and you try to start by building this offer, "Oh, I'm going to start a video editing business." Cool. How are you getting clients? How are you getting sales, right? And I see this all the time. We have a pest control company that we work with. And one of the biggest things that I've learned, and I talked to someone else actually who also runs a pest control company the other day, biggest thing I've learned is like, what do these guys who know about pest control actually know about marketing, sales, innovation, design, ops, like building businesses? they don't know a lot about it because their main focus 99% of the time is not on that stuff. It's actually on pest control and on offering the best thing possible, which is great. You can scale a business that way, but only off of referrals. If you actually want to scale like very, very aggressively and very fast, which is what I specialize in. I specialize in scaling businesses to 100K a month extremely aggressively. And if that's what you want to do, if you want to scale very, very aggressively, very, very fast, that's what you have to do, right? You have to build around the person first. You can have the best offer in the world, but if there's no one that wants to offer, the offer is pointless, right? And I just kicked my camera. But if no one wants to offer, the offer is completely pointless, right? So you need to actually build something that people want and that people more than just want, need, right? I personally believe there's going to be some big political changes, and I dropped a whole recession guide on my YouTube channel probably like a month and a half ago. I still believe that all of that is true and that is going to come to fruition, and we're seeing it more and more every single day. The biggest thing that I've noticed from that, and I've figured out from that from doing research in history, is when things start to go to shit, people always go towards needs, right? They prioritize needs over wants. It's just basic human psychology. It's basic math, right? They're going to go to what they need before they go to what they want. And so if you're just selling something that's like somewhat of a desire, but it's not an actual need, doesn't really matter, right? The best products are the ones that pull people away from pain more than pushing people towards desire, because pain hurts more than people desire. Pain hurts more than people actually push desires, right? So the biggest thing in finding a niche is actually figuring out first, who do you want to target, right? Who do you get along with? Maybe it's a problem that you used to have that you learned how to solve, and that's how you're going to actually sell it, right? I've seen that happen a lot. The biggest thing in choosing a niche and choosing a persona is obviously you want like the niche term, right? Whether that be like real estate agents or online service-based businesses or marketing agencies or coaches or creators or pest control companies. Whatever that may be, you do want to have some sort of term like that, right? But the bigger thing that you want is you need to know their pain points and their desires, and how your product actually takes them from the pain to the desire, right? And you need to know what the gap is between the pain and the desire, and B, how your solution actually can help that. So the first thing that we're going to figure out before we actually figure out the niche, and I see so many people messing this up, the first thing that we would need to actually figure out is the people, is the person, right? The first variable that we're solving for is the person, right? So after you solve for the person, then you can actually create the offer. But if you don't have the person dialed in, you're not going to be able to actually go and get a good offer that actually prints. So if you want to find a niche that's a 10K, 100K, a mil per month niche, you can't be a commodity, and B, you have to build the offer around the person, around their specific pains and around their specific desires, and serve them at a higher level, because business is more competitive than ever. There are more people coming into business every year, and I see it happening more and more, especially at my age. I'm 19. I see people all around me coming into business. I've been in business for a long time, but I see a lot more people coming into business right now. And what you need to do is actually specialize in something and not become a commodity, not blend in with all these other businesses that are being created, and actually build something that's different. Because if you can be different and you can stand out, that's how you actually make more money than everyone else. The average American makes around like 5K a month. They make around 50K, 55K a year, something like that. That is like average, right? You can't live off of 50K a year, in my opinion. Like, it's very, very tough to live off of 50K a year. It's very, very tough. So you either sacrifice now or you sacrifice later. But if you sacrifice now and you actually become different and you wait a little bit to sell your offer for finding a good niche, then you're able to make a lot more money long term, right? So biggest tips to finding a niche. 1, what is the TAM of the niche, right? What's the total addressable market? How big is the niche? How many people are in the niche? The first thing that made us actually change from coaches was we just looked at the simple math of like coaches versus accounting firms, right? And the TAM of coaches is around 50,000. There's 50,000 coaches of all the coaches. Now, of those, probably 2%, 1% to 2% are qualified, right? For the TAM of accounting, you just look at just accounting firms. The TAM of an accounting firm is 500,000, or the TAM of accounting firms is 500,000. That means there's 500,000 accounting firms in the United States, and there's 50,000 coaches, and we can target maybe 1% of the coaches. We can target maybe 5 to 10% of accounting firms if we want to, probably way more than that, honestly. But of accounting firms doing like 10 to 100K a month that want to scale aggressively, you're maybe going to get 5 to 10%, right? So if you look at like just pure data, right, you have to be able to do the math. If you're not doing the math, you're never going to actually make it in business. But if you just look at pure data, you can see the TAM is way bigger in accounting firms. It's easier to target. There's more people. And that's the thing with coaches is no one knows how to get in contact with coaches, right? Other thing on the niche, figure out how big this niche is actually growing. Is it somewhere where there's funding going to, right? You can look on like whitehouse.gov. You can look on these like bigger business websites to see where the government funding is flowing and actually get an idea of what a good offer would be around that niche, right? I create offers all the time, right? I don't think that I'm not the guy that's going to come out here and be like, oh, you just need to stick to one product, one offer. It can work for sure. But I also believe that like if I can build 10 offers, monetize 10 different offers, as long as those 10 offers are not slowing down my other offers, which they're not, it's fine, right? But from the start, you need to capitalize on one offer and then vertically integrate. So in order to do that, in order to be able to vertically integrate, you need to have a niche first. You need to know what these people in all of these 10 different businesses all want. You need to know their pain, their desire, the solution, and the gap, right? If you know those 4 things and you can actually expand on that throughout where the money is going, right? If you can expand on that throughout where the money in business is going, you can see, okay, there's money flowing into, say, AI. There's money flowing into SaaS. There's money flowing into healthcare funding. There's money flowing into like a bunch of different things. Wherever you look, if there's money flowing there, there's probably also going to be people flowing there. There's going to be a bigger industry, and the CAGR, the capital annual growth rate of that industry, is going to be a lot greater than what it would be for a normal company. So those are the biggest things to look for when finding a niche. The biggest piece of advice I can give you is find the niche and find the persona before you build the offer, not the other way around. That is the number one killer of businesses. They lose at step 1, and that is step 1 to starting and scaling a business to 100K per month. If you want to see my full 100K per month training completely free, it's not a VSL, it's just like a random video that I did, it's podcast. Go ahead and click the top link in the description, and you'll be basically redirected to that video after you put in your email. So if that is something you're interested in, go click that top link in the description. If not, go watch this video over here. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And other than that,